Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Fantasy Players Club. I'm your host, Lee Valentine, at Levi_Valentine on Twitter. Joining me are my co-hosts, Brent Heikes. Follow him at Brent Heikes, Heikes on Twitter, and Trevin Cremosta, whose tweets are still too hot for your eyes. That's still what we're rolling with here, Trevin?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right. Well, since your tweets are too hot for our eyes, Mr. Cornstar is your name tonight on our live stream. If you haven't joined us yet on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter for the live stream on Thursday nights, you should hit us up. So what do you got for us tonight, Trevin?
Yeah, first of all, Colt Brennan passing away. Sounds like that was pretty tragic, and I really can't do it justice. He's very entertaining to watch when I was growing up. It's too bad it ended the way it did. But I would suggest everybody go listen to Duchesne's and his podcast, Terrestrial Takes. He did a great breakdown of it. Sounds like Colt Brennan meant a lot to him when he was watching college football growing up. So go check that out for everybody. The other thing I had on a lighter note was I did meet Brent in person for the first time last week. He sent a text to us that said he's getting ready for graduation. I said, hey, I'm in your hometown. I'll stop by if you're available, and stop by, and I can tell you he's even more handsome in person. He's got a great house there. He did only let me go to his garage because he saw the vehicle I was in and said didn't have enough money to go see his Peloton, but the outside of his house is very nice. It's good to meet you in person, Brett.
Yeah, it was. Thank you for stopping by. It was nice to finally see you guys, or see Trevin in person. Maybe one of these days I'll see Levi in person. But thank you for stopping by. And Madison will be opening up her gift on Saturday. So you guys didn't have to give her anything, but that was nice of you guys.
Yeah, you're welcome. Levi, we did make a promise that whenever you are back in central Nebraska, the three of us are going to go out and get a margarita together.
All right. Sounds like a plan. And Brent, in her card, we just put your dad wants to jump through the table for your graduation to celebrate. Be ready for that.
Yeah, that'll be a great graduation present for her. Her dad getting taken away in an ambulance.
That's what would happen.
We got a question from Omega who wants to know, Brent, for your first margarita, are you going on the rocks or frozen?
Oh boy, I don't know. I'd like frozen, like a slushy type deal.
Yeah, like blended.
Yeah.
I'd probably go on the rocks then.
Good choice.
I don't know. I guess I'll have to try them both to decide. But
might go one of each.
I mean,
I can't wait.
You'll probably drink like 5 or 6 that first time you finally try them. You'll be like,
probably.
Oh, these are delicious.
Probably. We will see.
Omega endorses both for sure. Thanks for joining us tonight, Omega. Before we get started in the main event, I want to get your guys' thoughts. We've kicked off our Campus to Canton draft this week, and it is an auction draft for the NFL side where we started. The first auction, I believe, for both of you, correct?
First auction like this, kind of. Like way back 10, 15 years ago, we did auction. It was like an ESPN auction where the player would be up for like a minute. But this way is much, much more fun.
Yeah. And the way he's talking, you want to describe what he's doing, Levi, or what he means by this way?
Yeah, so we have a slow draft where you have 24 players on the board at once, and they're up there for 24 hours, and the clock resets every time there's a new high bidder. And you could put in your proxy bid on what's the most you'd be willing to pay for that player, so you don't lose the clock doesn't reset unless they exceed your proxy bid. So that's the way we're doing it, and it sounds like you're enjoying it, Brent. Trevin, you as well?
Yeah, this is actually my first auction of any kind, and I'm liking it a lot, but it is tense when one of your bids you really want is getting towards the end of that clock, because if somebody takes you out, you have 24 hours, you can re-up your high bid, but it gives everybody a whole another 24 hours to reconsider taking that guy you want. So, but you don't want to be spending too much on it either. You can't really fall in love with the guy. So it's exciting. And it's not, I was worried like during work that I might be able to not watch my phone or whatever, but with the 24-hour limit, there's not a whole lot of guys you're going to miss. If you check your phone every couple hours, you can see if it's something you need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to give a big middle finger to Todd Foster, the FF_Bannerman on Twitter, who twice waited until the last hour to take CD Lamb as the high bidder from me and made me wait another 24 hours.
I didn't realize he did that to you twice.
Yeah. So the first time he did it, and I did the same thing to him the next day as payback. And then he didn't realize that he had done it to me. I told him in the chat, he's like, I'm like, you just did that to me. I wasn't CD Lamb though, and I was like, yes, it was. And so then he's like, oh, and then he did again the next day, and so finally I got CD Lamb on the third try, I guess. So thanks, Todd. I don't know, like Dave Wright, the FF_spaceman on Twitter, is a saint because not only does he put up with Todd's libel on their podcast, but he also, after Todd did that the second time, I went and asked him, okay, Dave, who does Todd love in the middle or lower tiers that I can just make sure he doesn't get? And Dave would not sell him out. Dave would not spill the beans. So that's loyalty right there from Dave. And Todd, I know it's all in good fun, but you didn't have to do it twice.
That's the other. I mean, I just got into Dynasty Fantasy last year, and so that's the other fear this whole time is that you really make a move that's going to screw you for a couple years, not like a redraft. So it makes it just a little bit more tense.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it either, Omega. And Omega and Duchesne's are in this draft. I had an interesting strategy of waiting. They didn't get their first player until like the 6th day of the draft. So we may have to have them on next week, fellas, to talk a little bit about auction draft strategy and kind of what they did and if they're happy with how things turned out. By then we should be far enough into the draft where we'll have a good sense for our team and there won't be a lot of strategy left to give away. So maybe we'll
I think their strategy was they fell asleep at the wheel.
Ouch.
Well, speaking of strategy, fellas, the NFL teams are starting to strategize because the schedule came out this week. So let's hop into the main event. And for tonight's main event, we do have 2 rounds. The first, we're going to talk a little bit about that NFL schedule that came out. And then the second, we're going to do a first round of a rookie mock. So first, the NFL schedule, we already have a prediction here from Alex Johnson, who says on September 19th, the Steelers are going to beat the Raiders by 7.
Only by 7?
Oh, the Steelers are garbage this year. Here, I know what everybody wants. We'll go week by week for the Raiders, and I'll tell you if they're going to win or lose. So week 1, we've got Baltimore coming to Las Vegas at home.
Really
Monday Night Football. They're definitely. I mean, it's going to be a tough game with the Ravens, but they'll win that one. Pittsburgh.
Just give us the bottom
2.
line.
I'm just kidding. We're not going
5 and 12.
No. I just tweeted it out that they're 14-3. I see here 3 losses. So.
Yeah. Okay.
They do have 4 primetime games, so it should be plenty of time to watch this year. I think they'll probably gave them some to show off the new stadium. I think when you build a new stadium, you actually do get some agreement with the NFL that you get to have some primetime games. And with last year being the COVID year, I would bet some of those got pushed to this year. So it'll be cool to see that stadium full.
I don't know why the NFL would subject us to 4 of those primetime games, but I guess you'll be happy at least.
Thanks.
Alex,
I know that's what you care about.
Start for the Raiders.
The funny thing about the schedule, though, is that all these games are known beforehand, because they're all predetermined based on how your schedule went last year and who you're going to play the next year. So it's really the only thing they released is the order of them every year, but it's a big event for everybody. They put it on ESPN primetime, and we got to find out the order that the games that are already determined are going to be played.
Yeah, and the team's going to do the cool schedule release videos.
Yeah, and they make it like an all-day thing here. It's crazy.
So any fantasy implications for you guys from the schedule release?
I think you've got one of there's some big games that are on a certain day, or there are some teams on a bye week, but I'm not going to put a lot of stock into that, I guess.
Yeah, it's week 7, I think it was. Let's see, the Bills, Cowboys, Vikings, Steelers, Chargers, and the Jaguars. So if you have like Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Dak Prescott, Zeke, CeeDee Lamb, Delvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Deontay Johnson, Herbert, Eckler, Keenan Allen, Trevor Lawrence, ETN, Chark, you're out of luck for that week. So that seems like the toughest week if you if you own a bunch of those guys, especially if you own like a Josh Allen and Dak Prescott. That's a pretty good quarterback tandem to have, but they have to buy it in the same week, so that's kind of tough.
If you're worried about that, I'll take the Josh Allen and Dak Prescott off your hands.
Yeah, but on the
every other week with them both.
Yeah, on the bright side, you have every single week with that core, so you can look at it two different ways.
I think the biggest takeaway I had was that we do have buys in week 14, which we didn't necessarily know we were going to have going into the schedule release, and so I think that makes it a non-starter for me, at least in my leagues, to have the playoffs include week 14 if you were going to do something like 2 weeks per round where it's 14, 15, 16, 17. It just doesn't appeal to me at all to have playoffs going on when bye weeks are going to be occurring. So that was unfortunate, but kind of limits your options. But that was probably my biggest takeaway from a fantasy perspective.
Yeah, and this is not really a fantasy perspective, but kind of sucks. They got an extra game and still only one bye week. I thought they were going to get 2 bye weeks out of this deal. It just seems like a lot. 17 games in 18 weeks, not including the playoffs, not including the preseason. That's a lot.
Yeah, it is. And we lost Trevin. His computer crashed.
Oh, shoot.
So me and Brent will carry the load as usual here. Trevin only serves to distract us in a normal situation anyway. So we'll get him back in here as soon as his computer starts working again. In the meantime, we have a question for Alex Johnson, who says, question for the panel. Why did the Raiders sign Kenyon Drake when they have JJ? Yeah, and by JJ, I assume he means Josh Jacobs. So, Brent, you want to field that question?
That is a good question. I guess they probably didn't feel too great about their depth in their backfield. Jalen Richard and, oh gosh, the other guys, can't think of him. What's his name? Help me out, Levi.
Devontae Booker, I think.
Yes. I think.
Is he still there? I didn't know if his deal expired.
I don't know if he's still there, but their depth last year wasn't the greatest anyway, so they're probably hoping that Drake will help fill that void. They got Theo Riddick, Kenyon Drake, Jalen Richard. Looks like Booker's gone, so yeah, hopefully that doesn't mean Josh. I know there's a lot of talk last year about Josh Jacobs getting more receptions. Hopefully that doesn't take away from that. So I'd like to see Josh Jacobs be more involved in the receiving game.
Yeah. Their depth chart is Jacobs, Drake, Jalen Richard, and Theo at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So Devontae Booker's out of there. Trevin says Drake takes the Booker role. Booker is gone and his answer is because Gruden is a fool. So Trevin can't get his computer to work, but he's now watching us on Facebook and commenting. So Trevin, you can give us your picks and in the chat.
That's great.
But Brent, yeah, I'm shocked they didn't get a second bye week as part of this deal too. It seems like the players somehow let this. I know they got a higher cut of the revenue, which is a big deal, but to not get a second bye is just brutal for the wear and tear they take over a season.
Yeah, it can't be good for their bodies.
Yeah,
but
should we hop into our rookie mock?
Let's do it. Trevin better be ready to give his picks.
Now we get to rip all his terrible picks without him being here. Oh, he's back. He's back.
There's a corn
back,
star.
Baby. Can't take more than that to get me out of here.
Just in time.
Do the Wolf of Wall Street meme. They're going to need a effing wrecking ball.
You can cuss on here. I don't know if you knew that.
Well, we're on Facebook Live. My grandma might be watching.
She doesn't know you say the F word.
Sorry,
Grandma. He's going to confession on Sunday. He'll be all right.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, round 2, the rookie mock. So I neglected to mention at the top, guys, tonight is our 50th episode. We've done an episode a week for the last 50 weeks, so shout out to us. We're on a roll here. And in our very first episode, longtime listeners will know we did a rookie mock last May. At the end of May 31st was our first real episode. So, Brent, in our rookie mock last year, you and me took turns in the first round. You had the first pick, the third, the fifth, the seventh, the ninth, and the 11th. And we did single quarterback because we were just newbies back then. So we'll go over those picks, Brent. With the first pick, you took Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Second pick, I took Jonathan Taylor. Third pick, you took J.K. Dobbins. Fourth pick, I took DeAndre Swift. And the fifth pick, you took Cam Akers. So pretty chalk there. We both ended up with a couple really good running backs, and Taylor and Swift for me, Dobbins and Akers for you, and then you also had Clyde first overall, which maybe you would change that pick in hindsight. Any comments there, Brent?
You got the best running back out of the deal, especially from last year, but I still like the potential out of Akers, Dobbins, and Edwards-Helaire. So, I mean, you won the first 5 picks. I'll give it to you there, but barely, because I feel like you can make an argument for Cam Akers and J.K. Dobbins and Clyde Edwards-Helaire being better than DeAndre Swift.
You could make an argument. You'd be wrong, but you could make an argument. All right. Should we go through the next 5?
No.
I'll add my 6th on this. So my 6th was CD Lamb. So my top 3 were Taylor Swift and CD Lamb, and you had Clyde, JK, and Cam Akers. So CD Lamb looks like a pretty good one in hindsight. I did have Taylor Swift. You like that? All right. So 3 pretty solid picks for me there. And then our second 6, Brent, you had Ruggs at 7.
And 1 blank page for Brent at number 1.
Brent, you had Ruggs at 7 after CD Lamb. Before Justin Jefferson.
Yep. I mean, what can I say? I don't know.
I took Justin.
I still agree with it, Brent.
Jefferson at 8. You are, what's the Eagles GM, Howie Roseman? You are the Howie Roseman of fantasy football.
Ouch.
All right, so I had Jefferson at 8. You took Jerry Jeudy at 9. I had Jalen Reagor at 10. You had Joe Burrow at 11, and I had Keyshawn Vaughn at 12. So neither of us really crushed the end of that first round, but Jeudy and Burrow probably look a lot better than Reagor and Vaughn right now.
I'm impressed.
I'll give you a
I'm impressed, Levi, looking back at this. He did take Jefferson in front of Jeudy. So I'll give you kudos on that one.
That I did?
Yeah, that was a good pick.
That was a good call.
Yeah, because in a lot of stuff I saw, Jeudy was always, I guess Lamb was probably number 1, but Jeudy is right there behind Lamb. Good pick, Levi.
Thanks, fellas. So I'll try to replicate my success this year. We've got Trevin in the mix this year, so instead of going 1-2, 1-2, we're going to go 1-2-3, and we're giving you the first pick this year, Trevin. So start us off. Who you got?
And
we're doing Superflex this year.
Superflex, yeah.
Yep. Instead of single quarterback, we learned our lesson.
Superflex, PPR, right?
Yep. Are we building a team? Do we need like a quarterback, running back, receiver, or are we just trying to take best value each pick?
Let's just do best value each pick.
Okay. So the first pick, I got to take Lawrence here. Hands are pretty much tied. And if it's Superflex, number 1 pick, give me Trevor Lawrence.
Real surprise there from Trevin, Brent.
I wish I could do something different, but it's not really. You wouldn't be able to even argue against it, I don't think.
No. Good pick. I was hoping that you'd take somebody else, but I figured.
All right, Brent, who are you going with second?
I actually have this decision to make here in a couple weeks. I will go with the potential of Trey Lance for the 49ers. He might be sitting out that first year. I mean, there's that chance, but I think he can really be a good fantasy player in that offense, even if I have to wait a year.
That leaves me with the easiest pick in the draft because whichever of those top 3 quarterbacks was here, it was the one I was going to take. And luckily for me, it's my quarterback 2. We're all sticking to our ranks here, Brent. So you had Lance second in your ranks that we discussed last week, and I had Fields second. So it's pretty easy call for me to get Fields here. I think he walks into a pretty good situation in Chicago. With Allen Robinson, he could make Anthony Miller relevant, and then they have Cole Kmet at tight end. So interesting to see how he does. His weapon, Montgomery, a pretty good pass catching too. So I think he probably starts, if not right away, not very far into the season over Andy Dalton, and I think he has a good year.
Yeah.
Um,
Go ahead, Travis.
I know we've talked about it a little bit for Justin Fields is that Chicago doesn't scare you at all. I mean, there's just something about the city. They don't seem to be able to develop a quarterback. I know that organizations change over time. There's nobody left in the organization now from the 90s or the 80s or anything, but as a team, they've never really been able to develop a quarterback.
Yeah, honestly, that doesn't really matter that much to me. I mean, no team can until they get a guy, and I think I'm a believer in Fields' talent. And then, like I said, they have a couple of good receivers. Darnell Mooney looks like he's a pretty good up and coming receiver too. So it'll be interesting to see how he does. And I'm not a huge fan of their coaching staff there, but I think that they now have a quarterback who can do the things that they wanted to do from the beginning. So it'll be interesting to see how they try to evolve that offense a little bit to take advantage of his skill set.
You're kind of straying me off topic a little bit, Levi. I just have a quick question for you. You mentioned Anthony Miller over Darnell Mooney. Do you consider Miller the number 2 guy there?
Honestly, if from a fantasy perspective, I'd probably take Mooney over Miller at this point. But
NFL,
I don't know how they view him. I don't know how they view him, honestly.
Okay.
What are your thoughts, Brent?
I like Mooney. I mean, fantasy perspective and team-wise, I think they think Mooney's their number 2 receiver.
Tariq Cohen also coming back this year.
Yeah.
Give him a weapon out of the backfield.
All right, you got a running back too. I can't remember who it was. Another running back. Trevin, you can go ahead.
Oh, back to my pick.
David Montgomery.
I know running backs have a little more value than receivers here. In most cases of a dynasty rookie draft, but I got to go with Chase. It seems like he's an absolute stud. He's only 21 years old, and I've loved him this whole time we've been talking about the rookie class. So I got to go Chase here.
Can't believe you didn't pay up in our auction to get that one of those top 3-4 picks, Trevin, so you could take him.
I mean, goodness gracious, the price was just as high as going for like an A.J. Brown. I thought A.J. Brown and DK are only 23 themselves. I just went that way instead.
It's so crazy that people are like Brent, you paid a pretty high price for 2 of those top 3 picks. What's your argument for taking those unproven rookies over maybe some of the elite options at the positions that are proven a little bit?
I mean, first of all, I don't think I paid that much for him. According to, everything that I'm looking at, really, in my opinion, I didn't pay that much for him. But
let me give some context. So you paid, hold on. For 102, you paid $72 out of a $500 budget, and for 103, you paid $66. So, I'm not saying you overpaid. I'm just saying that that's probably comparable to, I think Russell Wilson, $64 is what you paid, Trevin, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think it's 64 for Russell Wilson and 71 for DK Metcalf. Just to defend Brent a little bit, though, and the reason I wanted some of the picks was it does give you some flexibility after the draft to then – I think that's where you get a little premium with those picks and the way I kind of view it. I just didn't have the money to do it to where you still have the option to trade them after you see what your roster is. You have an option of picking different players based on your roster after it's set. So I think that's where the premium comes in for some of these picks.
Yeah,
but
and
that's
Russell Wilson's going to be 33 years old at the end of the season. So he's getting up there in age, and he's already, there's talk about him wanting to leave Seattle, and who knows what happens after he leaves Seattle. And you did get a good deal for DK Metcalf. I'll give you that. But who knows how long Russell Wilson is going to be his quarterback. Maybe they have a crappy quarterback in the future. But I like taking the chance on, if a guy like Trey Lance, if a guy like Justin Fields, if a guy like Jamar Chase becomes a fantasy superstar, I feel like I got a pretty good deal. If they become like a little bit less than Russell Wilson or a little bit less than DK Metcalf, I paid a little bit more for him. I'll take my chance there. Yeah,
and I'm not saying you're wrong, Brent. I was just curious about your philosophy there, just given the prices.
Yeah, and I could be wrong. I very well could be. But I like taking a chance there.
For my sake, I hope you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you're really wrong.
All right, so we got Jamar Chase off the board, and now we go to Brent for the 5th pick.
I was really
And
hoping
Alex Johnson says take Najee, so if you want to do that.
I was really hoping that Trevin would take Najee, so I can make the easy pick and pick Jamar Chase. But I'll take care of my running back position and I'll go Najee. So I like him the best at a running back, so he's my guy.
We've talked about him before too. That here's the Steelers fan, Alex Johnson. I hate that situation he's in right now. I think it'll be okay. That Big Ben most likely is last year, and I think that'll improve for Najee, but this year scares me for Najee. We've talked about it a little bit before, but they've got a bad offensive line, and Big Ben's only going to run shotgun.
Yep. And this makes my next pick again pretty easy here. So I think that there's a pretty clear top 6 for me, and Travis Etienne is the 6th person in my top 6. And so I'll take him here. I think he landed in a pretty good situation with his college quarterback who has shown that he targets him quite frequently in college, and I would expect that to carry over to the NFL as well. And I think this offense could be pretty good, and I don't know how good their defense is going to be, so I think that bodes well for him putting up a good amount of fantasy points, and I think he steps right primarily as the receiving back, and then eventually starts to take over in the rushing side of the game as well, and they start to phase James Robinson into more of a complementary role over the course of the season. So, give me a little Travis Etienne here at 6.
Good pick. I like Etienne.
Don't like that pick, Trevin?
No, I was really hoping I'd be able to get Etienne there because I've said from the beginning that this is too high for me to take Pitts, but I'm not a huge Wilson fan. I don't know if it's time to go with Javonte Williams, but I do like where he's at with the Broncos. Give me Pitts. Give me Pitts here. I'm worried about him being the tight end in the first year, but he's a freak. They're going to be throwing the ball out at the Falcons, I think. So I'm pretty happy with getting Pitts here, I guess. It's higher than I would have liked to take him, but seeing how our draft is shaken down, it's my best option, I think.
I'm in the same boat as you. I was kind of hoping you'd pick him because I probably would have picked him, but I would have been happy about it. So maybe you can trade him.
Yeah.
All right, Brent.
Levi,
who are you going with at 8?
I'm going Devontae Smith. He's my guy. He's my guy. He's going to get so many targets at Philadelphia, even though their offense might not be the greatest, but they're going to try to feed him the ball. He's really, if you think about it, he's really all they really have on offense. And you know me, I'm not a big fan of Miles Sanders at all. The receivers, nothing really. Dallas Goedert. He's decent tight end, but it's going to be all Devontae Smith, and they're going to try to get him the rock. So I'll take his fantasy points.
All right. Well, I think that makes it kind of a hard pick for me because I think I have to take one of these quarterbacks just from a value perspective. And I've said it before, and I'll stick to it. I'm taking Mac Jones over Zach Wilson here. I think their situations are close enough that I will go with what I think is the better talent, and that to me is Mac Jones, who had an incredible season against SEC competition and lands in New England, where I think maybe he sits for most, or for at least some of this year, if not most of the year. And I think that he's probably not going to skyrocket in value as a result of that, but I think he's definitely going to maintain or increase his value marginally as we head into 2022. So I think I got to go with Mac Jones, just like I said, from a pure value perspective.
Oh man, I hate Mac Jones. I don't, but I understand that quarterback's probably the best value here. So you're picking between Zach Wilson and Mac Jones, and oh man, good luck is what I say. I did see Vegas is having the line is over under 2.5 rookie quarterback starting week 1. What do you guys think about that? Over or under?
Week 1?
Yep, week 1. I think you can pretty much pencil Wilson and Lawrence in for start. So it's really which of the other – is there going to be one of the other three starting week 1 between Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, and Mac Jones?
I'll go under, but that's tough.
I'll go. It's the over-under is what, Trevin? 1?
2.5.
Oh, 2.5.
But it's, I mean, basically Lawrence and Wilson will be starting week 1. They don't really have competition. So it's really, will the other three, one of them will be starting week 1.
I'll go over. I think either Lance or Fields will be starting. One of those two.
Yeah, I think over also. I think one of those teams is just going to be excited to have something new there.
I think by week 4, we'll have 4 of them starting.
Yeah.
At least 4.
You guessing everybody but Mac?
Or Fields. Or Lance.
Yeah, I would say Lance might be the last just because he's raw. Yeah. I think Mac's going to be starting pretty early. I don't know. I don't think they're too excited for Cam to come back for another year there in New England.
Yeah. All right, Trevin, you got 10. Your fourth pick here. Take us on.
As much as I love Bateman, I'm not real excited about his landing spot. We talked about that last week. I don't think he's going to be beating out Mark Andrews, at least in the first couple of years, for it to be the number 1 target in an offense that doesn't throw that much. So just based on value, I think I've got to go Zach Wilson here. Put me in for my second quarterback of the 2-quarterback league. He's too high up on my big board here to be going somewhere else with him. He's fallen far enough. I'll scoop up Zach Wilson.
Trevin, didn't you say last week Javonte Williams was your number 1 running back?
He is, but I'm also not that excited about these running backs.
Okay. I mean, it looks like it, especially if you don't take your number 1 guy right there.
Yep.
I mean, nothing wrong with it. I get it.
No, it's okay, Brent. You can trash it if you want.
I can't really. It's all right. Oh, shoot. I don't know. I'm deciding between Javonte Williams and Jalen Waddle.
So you're just trying to rebuild the Alabama offense there? You got Najee Harris already. You got Devontae Smith.
Oh, shoot, yeah.
You going to go 3 Bama players of your 4 picks here? Too bad you couldn't. Maybe you can trade. You trade for Mac.
And it didn't work out very good for me last year when I got Judy and Ruggs.
Yeah, you got your roster from last year still. You're looking at maybe 5 Alabama players.
Let's go Javonte Williams. I like his situation.
I agree. I think that was your best play.
We'll let Levi take Waddle.
That's up to Levi here. See how he messes this up.
I'll take my running back too, which is Rondale Moore. I'm taking him number 12 over Jalen Waddle, over Rashad Bateman, over
running
Terrace
back.
Marshall. My wide receiver too.
Oh, you said running back. I thought you were playing him at a different position.
No, wide receiver 2, Rondale Moore. He's my 12th pick here. I think he landed in a great situation in Arizona. I think he steps right into the slot role that Larry Fitzgerald is vacating and was very productive in for a long time, even in his mid-30s. And I think Rondale's going to have a really good year there.
Yep, they're going to be throwing the ball a lot, I think. I think he's going to get a lot of targets.
You think their raid offense might throw the ball a little bit?
No, maybe. We'll see. They got Connor there now. He's kind of a stud.
Yeah, big time.
They might go out. I'd trade for Tariq Cohen if I was them. Really build the short kings.
Yeah.
I don't know, Levi. Levi, I think you made a mistake with that last one.
Who would you have gone with?
It's very possible. Save it for next week.
Yeah.
Don't give him a free game. Trevin's got the first pick next week, so don't give him a free one.
Oh, are we doing the next round next week?
Maybe. If we'll see. We'll do it sometime, right. I'm sure.
I'm taking Tony first.
Can't wait. You thought Henry Ruggs' pick 7th in the first round last year looked bad. Wait till
that's still going to turn around. These are dynasty leagues. Don't count out Ruggs yet.
You sound so confident.
Don't be putting that stake in Ruggs yet, Levi.
Speaking of the Raiders, let's go to our question of the week. Question of the week. The Raiders have announced the launch of the Wynn Field Club at Allegiant Stadium and an agreement with Wynn Resorts, which has become the official nightlife partner of the Las Vegas Raiders and Allegiant Stadium. The Wynn Field Club will be situated at field level and span the entire length of the north end zone. It will feature 2 DJ booths manned by Wynn Nightlife's roster of DJs, a 45,000-watt sound system, and a premium bottle service, among other amenities. Question of the week, fellas, or at least the first one. How much would you pay to sit in the Wynn Field Club at Allegiant Stadium for, let's say, for their first home game? How much would you pay? If money was not an object, if you could pay any amount, what would you pay?
Is Guy Fieri with me?
We'll say no. You don't know it's just you and your buddies.
Do we get to eat donkey sauce?
I don't know what that is, but sure.
Guy Fieri sauce.
No, I'm not a big Guy Fieri guy. Do you know a trick to saying Fieri the right way? You say it like it's a D instead of. You say it like it's a D instead of an R. Fieri.
It's Fieri.
Fieri.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just taught you that trick, listeners.
I don't know. $1 million? Is that too high?
$1 million.
Mark Davis with me.
What if Mark's not there? What if it's just you and your buddies? How much you paying?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if the club scene would be where I'd want to sit for if I'm going to a Raiders game. I'd pay a lot to be. Yeah. I mean, maybe if I was younger, but if I'm paying to go to a Raiders game, I'd really like to watch the game and see what's going on. I don't know if the club's going to be paying a lot of attention to what's going on with the game. And I don't know if I can really tell the people in front of me to sit down if they're clubbing. So I don't think I'd pay very much to be inside the club at the Raiders game. For a good seat. A good seat at the Raiders game, I'd pay a lot.
You don't think the 45,000-watt sound system is going to enhance your viewing experience at the Raiders game?
You want to be able to hear the game. You'll just be hearing club music.
That's what I don't understand. How are they allowed to do that? Like, aren't there NFL rules against playing music while the game's going on? Like, after the snap?
I would think so.
Not in the club, baby.
Because it's not like there's a wall between the club and the field. It's just open air.
Huh. Wow. I don't know how good sound travels, though, if it's just speakers in that area. Like the speakers around the stadium are all around the stadium. The club speakers.
Yeah, I think the most I'd do is 1,000, which I don't even think that'd get you.
1,000? So. That's crazy. I'd walk through if it was free, maybe.
But it's like a front row seat, maybe. So
I need to see a picture of this thing.
Consideration. Yeah, there's pictures out there.
So it's down by the field? I was assuming this was like
it's
Cowboy
right by the
Stadium. Oh, I was picturing it was like the Cowboy Stadium where they have kind of an open-ended spot where you can walk through, but it's up on the first tier.
Field level spans the entire length of the end zone.
I might need to reconsider. Let me look at a picture of this thing. Holy shit, it's like behind the field goal post.
That gets to my second question, which is, how many games in do we get before like one of the quarterbacks is throwing the ball out of the back zone and just nails somebody's table or somebody hits somebody in the head or something?
All right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Hey, Brent, you think about your question. I got to rechange my answer here. This is a club of like just nice seats of bottle service where you're facing the field.
Right.
I'd pay quite a bit for this spot now. This would be a pretty cool area to be in. Yeah, $1,000 seems about right.
That's still my answer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying you're right. Good job. $1,000 is the correct answer.
Brent's looking at the pictures now.
Yeah,
it's totally going to happen where a quarterback's going to throw one just out of the back of the end zone to throw it away, and it's going to hit somebody in this place that's not paying attention, or a waiter or something.
Yeah, waiter carrying the sparkling bottles.
Yeah, exactly.
Bottles of sparklers coming out.
Yeah. They're just holding the signs up and like this. Trevor's birthday.
Yeah. You got those Kanye sunglasses on, the shutter ones.
Just knocks the bottle of Dom Perignon off the table.
Yep.
So they're playing music the whole time?
It doesn't say the whole time. It just says there's a 45,000 watt speaker system.
So the pictures, they do make it a little bit better. After looking at the pictures, I thought it was just some big dance floor where there's some DJ.
Yeah, that's what I was picturing with this club.
And I was gonna say $0, because I don't even like watching commercials during the Super Bowl, so I don't like all that extra stuff. I just like to sit and watch the game. I would sit there, I guess, to watch the game, but I personally don't like the end zone seats. I'd like to be like close to the 50-yard line so I can see the game a little bit better. Yeah, it's cool, eye level and everything, but get me on the side. I think I'd like that a lot better.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have like a club seating or a box on the side than sit in this end zone club.
Yep.
Because you can have like all the alcohol, basically the same setup in your box, except you're not at field level and you'd be on the sideline.
Can you imagine paying for these club tickets for like an 11 a.m. game? That's got to be the saddest sight in the world.
Especially, I guess it's in Vegas. I don't know if that's Mountain or Pacific time. I assume it's Pacific, but I don't know how early they kick off there. The 3:25 would be Pacific.
Like 12:25.
Yeah.
Or no,
so a little better, but still.
Yeah.
It'd be like going to tailgate for a 11 a.m. kickoff game.
Yeah, except you're in a club where like you're usually dressed nice, and like the women have like nightgowns on, or not nightgowns, like night dresses on, and the men are probably wearing slacks and ties, drinking bottle service at 2 p.m.
But it's Vegas, so you could still be up from the night before.
That'd be the thing.
Just if you could make it till noon kickoff, party 12 hours in a row.
I'm into it now.
All right. Well, I think we might have to take this show on the road to Vegas sometime. Check it out. Fantasy Players Club from the club live stream.
Oh yeah, if we get a sponsor,
we got to get Mark Davis on this thing.
Oh yeah, he's going to be attending his first home game. He never went to a game last year. He said if the fans can't go, he can't go. He probably didn't have enough money to pay for a ticket, but that's besides the point.
He probably hasn't even been to the stadium yet for work either.
Yeah, he couldn't even point to it on a map.
Sees it from the interstate when he's driving home at night.
Is that the stadium? No, that's your P.F. Chang's, you idiot.
They should have a P.F. Chang's in the stadium for Mark.
It really should.
I wonder if it does.
Be the only way to get his dumbass inside, probably.
Poor Mark Davis.
Like the Chick-fil-A at the Falcon Stadium that's not even open for game days.
Yeah.
All right.
Ridiculous.
Never thought about that.
Yeah. All right. I wanted to highlight, before we do our beer check, the Daily Devy, which I'm still doing on Twitter. And then I'm also posting them on our Facebook and Instagram pages. So if you don't know us there, go check them out. On Instagram, I'm doing a story with a song that ties back to the player or the team in some way with every Instagram story. So that's been kind of fun picking those out. And this last week, I did some players that are going to be relevant for 2022 when we get to next year's rookie draft. So even if you're not a Devy guy or a Campus Canton, if you want to be ahead of the game a little bit when you are looking forward to next year's rookie draft and potentially trading for those rookie picks this season, you'll want to check out some of these Daily Devy posts. So I have Treylon Burks, Isaiah Spiller, and David Bell, Sam Howell, who were in the past week, who are all going to be rookies or are draft eligible at least for next season and could be incoming rookies. And then I also had Eric Gilbert, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Keyshawn Boutte, who are some stud Devy prospects. So go check those out if you haven't already. Give us a follow. Give me a follow at Levi_Valentine on Twitter, and then on our Instagram, the Fantasy Players Club Instagram and Facebook. Just search Fantasy Players Club and you'll find us. So
Yeah, you're doing a great job with that. I know you're putting a lot of work into that, Levi. I did have one question on your music choice. Do you think you're going to pick a song that you weren't listening to, a hip-hop song in junior high yet, or are you just going to keep rolling with that?
There have been some other. I've mixed it up a little bit. I had Hell's Bells for David Bell. That was pretty good, huh?
There you go.
And then the Arkansas one was a song I didn't even know was out there, a country song. Got to get down to Arkansas.
Yeah, that makes sense that you didn't know that was out there.
So yeah, I mixed it up.
Yeah, you for Kayshawn Booty, you used Miss New Booty, that I believe was in 2004 or 2005.
Probably, but it's perfect for Kayshawn Butte.
Yep, and then you did the Nelly #1 for one of them.
The first one,
and
go figure.
Yep, and I'm just waiting
Sean
for
Robinson.
how you're going to work grills into this at some point.
Maybe. You'll have to watch and see.
Can't wait to find out.
There's a couple of songs that I hadn't heard before that I picked for Brees Hall and for what else? Spencer Rattler. I picked a Rattle song that I hadn't heard before. I did a John Mayer song for Michael Mayer. Thought that was pretty clever. Hurt
for the Georgia Tech guy, you did Welcome to Atlanta.
Yeah, and Hurt by Johnny Cash for George Pickens since he tore his ACL. Chris Stapleton did the Arkansas song. Howlin' for You, the Black Keys for Sam Howell. I Like to Move It for Eric Gilbert since he announced his transfer to Florida, and then it announced he's not transferring to Florida and may or may not be back at LSU. So you never know what's going to be the next pick.
Yeah, I like those. They're pretty. I mean, just the way they're built, it's pretty neat. It's pretty cool. I like the logo and everything. It's really neat.
Yep. Giving us a little pub. Should we do a beer check before we go?
Sure.
Absolutely.
All right. I had a whiskey barrel stout from Boulevard Brewing Company. I'll give this a 9 out of 10. Really, really like this one.
Do you have the bottle there with you?
I do not. I threw it away since I poured it in a glass like a respectable beer should be.
I am drinking Coors Light. Got a bunch of Coors Light for the weekend, and I'm starting now, I guess. Starting a little early.
The mountains are still blue?
Yep.
I still had some of that margarita on the rocks pre-mixed margarita I was talking about last week, so finishing that off tonight. 10 out of 10.
Oh, jeez.
It's good.
I'm sure it is. Well, thanks for being part of the Fantasy Players Club, everybody. We'll have a new episode for you next week that we will also live stream on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Probably on Thursday night. We'll give you a heads up if it's not going to be, but most likely on Thursday night. Usually 8:30 is kind of when we hop on. So keep an eye out, and that automatically tweets out on my Twitter account, which is, again, at Levi_Valentine, as well as our Fantasy Players Club Facebook and our YouTube channel. So go check that out, and then we'll have it usually in your podcast feed by Friday. Until then, on behalf of Brent Hudhud-Heikus and Trevin Cremosta, this is Levi Valentine wishing you a great week.
See ya.
See ya. You guys got any recommendations this week?
For TV shows? I do not.
Anything you want to recommend?
I think I recommend that you draft some good players in this fantasy draft that we're doing.
I drafted a lot of good players. I got a roster full of good players. I can't believe it.
Let me check out your team, Trevin.
I'm stacked. Young studs.
He has a solid core, but I don't know if you're going to have the cash to build out your starting lineup in your bench.
It wasn't really my plan. My only plan going into it was to get a young quarterback. I kind of had 4 at my list of I needed to get one of them. I was happy with the price I spent. Then I wanted to get a young receiver, kind of the top group of 5 or 6 on that.
Let's go through your roster here. You got Russell Wilson and Josh Allen at quarterback.
I wasn't planning on getting 2 of Wilson. I kind of had a group of 9 quarterbacks that were the top 9. I only wanted to get one of them, but I thought the Wilson price was too good to pass up for my team.
Josh Jacobs and Jonathan Taylor running back. Chris
Yep.
Godwin and DK Metcalf at receiver.
How much did you get Chris Godwin for?
44, I believe.
You've spent $410 out of your $500 budget on those 6 players.
Yeah, it wasn't my plan to just get the highest guys, but I feel like I got my number 2 quarterback on my board. The receivers were DK was involved with the top 4 or 5, I'd call. Receivers a little harder to pinpoint one guy. And then I got my number 2 running back. And I figure I got 4 years to try figuring it out early. Get good enough around them to give me a championship in a 4-year window. And if not, most of them should have enough value in 4 years that I can trade them if I need to. Besides Wilson, who would be a little older by then.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think you have obviously a very good start. A lot will depend on how wisely you spend that last $90.
Oh, thanks, Levi. I was planning on not even using it, and I guess I'll try spending it now on good players. Okay.
All right.
Not on the bad players. Gotcha. Thank you, sir.
I mean, strategically, how you allocate it.
Got any more fancy advice for the crew?
So you have 29 players to get.
Yeah.
So that's basically $3 a player the rest of the way.
Well, yeah, I'm not worried about the average. It's really I'm going to be able to spend money on 3 or maybe 4 guys, and the rest are going to be dollar guys.
Yeah.
So it's going to be how good I spend the money on those 3 or 4 other guys.
So you're going to be starting $1 a player or 2 every week?
Yeah, but look at the rest of my squad.
That's what I'm saying, you jackass, is it matters a lot how you spend that last $90. Whether you buy 10 $8 players and then fill it out with $1 or whatever the math would be, or if you buy a couple of $20 or $30 players and go for $1 players for the rest.
It didn't click the first time you told me I should buy good players and not bad players, but now I got you. Now it makes sense.
You're being a real a-hole right now.
Do you have any recommendations?
Levi, let's look at your team.
The one with better players than Trevin's and more money left?
The Kyler one sucked. I can't believe nobody ran you up on the Kyler one.
You got a good deal on Kyler.
What the hell was everybody? This is where Omega and Duchesne's were asleep at the wheel.
Yeah.
I just can't get over that one. Because Kyler and Josh Allen I had is tied. So then Kyler was going for $16 cheaper. That made me mad. Then somebody did run you up a little bit.
You know what's crazy? Kyler was from a cost perspective, the quarterback 6. There are 5 quarterbacks that sold for more than Kyler.
Well, I know, but the tough thing with this is that there's only 24 people available at one time. If everybody's available at one time, then it'd be easier to do something.
Yeah, but
Make a decision.
It's crazy that there were 5 that went above him, because I have him as my quarterback 2 personally, quarterback 2 or 3. But
yeah, I would have him 3.
He was listed at 2 or 3 on the thing. I think he was right there tied with Josh Allen on the thing that I was looking at.
Yeah.
My proxy
so who would have been Jack,
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, Josh, and Mahomes?
Mahomes, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, Trevor Lawrence, and Justin Herbert.
Oh, Herbert went for more.
Yeah.
What was your proxy for Kyler?
105.
Should have ran him up, Brent.
I know. I was talking to Trevin and Colin about it. I was like, come on, can't let him get Kyler at that price.
I didn't participate in this, Levi. Don't be blaming me.
Somebody did. I had him for 85 for a while, then went up to 88, then 93.
It was me.
You're such a dick.
I wasn't doing it to be a dick. I was like, at this price, I guess I'll just have Kyler and Josh Allen if it comes down to it. Figure it out after that. But it got up to 93 or 4 you got him at, and I was like, I can't spend $200 on quarterbacks.
So you took it all the way from 85 to 93?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I wasn't not to be a dick. It was too good of a price not to buy Kyler Murray, I didn't think.
Yeah, that's... You still got him at a great deal, Levi.
Oh, I did. Obviously, I got him $12 below what I was willing to pay, so I felt good about that.
And on the thing that I was looking at, he was 116, so got a heck of a deal.
Yeah.
But you did overpay for Miles Sanders.
And for DJ,
48 for Miles Sanders, you think is an overpay?
Mhm.
yeah,
I don't know.
for sure. He's
I-
below Josh Jacobs on my big board.
Yeah, you're way too high on Josh Jacobs.
No, I'm not. You wait.
That's
I may be way too low on Miles Sanders, but I never would have paid more than $12 for him.
You've hated Miles Sanders from day one, so that's no surprise.
Let's look at Brent's team. What's he got?
Well, the problem with Sanders was it got to be him or David Montgomery were kind of the last viable running back twos, and Duchesne's was on David Montgomery, so I had to get one of them. And
that's where this is auction's tough. Only 24 guys available at once.
Yeah. But the rest of my team, Saquon, CeeDee Lamb, and DJ Moore, feel pretty solid about that.
Yeah, not bad.
God, I'm so mad I'd let you have Allen Robinson for 36, Brent.
Me too.
I felt like that was a pretty good deal. I
It
thought
kind of
Michael-
snuck away from the group. There's a big group of receivers going at once that he kind of got out of. So then everybody else was going higher, and Allen kind of snuck through the finish line before anybody noticed, I think.
I never even thought of it until Kelvin Ridley got sniped for me in the last 10, 15 minutes. Then I'm like, oh, God, I couldn't pay that much for Ridley, so I just went after Robinson and Thomas. So,
Yeah, I think you got good prices on both Robinson, Thomas, and Mark Andrews. I think it was a good deal.
Yeah.
The other, Hunter Bryant, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and to an extent, Joe Burrow were probably not as good deals.
Harrison Bryant, Levi.
Harrison Bryant, sorry.
Why were you on Harrison Bryant? You sent him out early on.
Well, honestly, I didn't know much I didn't really know what was going on.
And $4 for Harrison Bryant.
It was one of the first
yeah.
people sent out in this auction bid was Harrison Bryant.
Everybody kept on overbidding me. I'm like, shit, this is going to be really tough. I better get some Harrison Bryant so I can get some player on my team. So,
you got him. Congrats.
Now that I think of it, I think I might have overpaid for Harrison Bryant at $4. So I probably could have got him for $1 or $2 if I would have waited. But yeah. I should have just let him go. But I wanted a guy on my team. So
how do you feel about Ryan Fitzpatrick for 10?
I feel like I needed a quarterback for this year, and I think he can be a decent fantasy. And I know I'm taking a chance. This is definitely probably going to be his last year, but I think fantasy wise he could help me out this year. I figure it's worth $10, and he'll probably start for me. I mean, with one of my two.
You have two rookie picks, the 102 and the 103.
I will probably get a quarterback, but there's no guarantee that guy is going to be starting this year. So I'm going to have to rely on Fitzpatrick, and I needed a guy like that. I mean, for example, if I take Justin Fields, I'm going to have to take a guy like Andy Dalton, and I like Ryan Fitzpatrick a lot better than Andy Dalton.
You might be in trouble if you take the rookie quarterback and then Joe Burrow also doesn't start right away this season. You might be starting Fitzpatrick and some non-quarterback in your Superflex.
Probably, but I can always – you guys will probably screw me out of this, but I can try to take Burrow's backup.
Yeah. Can we talk about what you paid for Joe Burrow? $84.
I love Burrow.
He was the next quarterback behind Kyler Murray for price. He went just ahead of Lamar Jackson and the rookie 102 that you also bought.
I love him. So, I mean, he kept on his price. I was competing with someone, so
yeah,
someone else liked him too.
He's your guy.
That is the thing. You never can overspend that much because you're always only $1 above whatever somebody else has.
Yeah.
Or the same.
I kind of felt like the top end. Yeah, I kind of felt like the top end of the draft on this. Nobody was really willing to go too high. I think there's kind of some deals at most of the high value guys,
such as,
which is why I built my team this way. I think all of them. Every top end quarterback I would have paid more for. Every top end running back I would have paid. Those were pretty close to the value, but top end receivers I would have paid a little more for.
Yeah, I tried getting Josh Allen from you. I like him, but you got a good deal with Josh Allen too. Not as good as a deal as Levi's Kyler, but I like Josh Allen better than Kyler. So
every guide I was reading, the top end quarterbacks were going for more than what we're getting paid for on this draft.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were fairly priced to maybe a little high depending on certain players, but that it's all in the eye of the beholder. So if everybody's happy with their picks, that's all that matters.
4 points for a touchdown, right? For a passing touchdown.
Yep, and 30 yards per point. So it's a little. You have to. The yards aren't quite as much as some other leagues.
Really? Okay.
Oh, you screwed me now. We got to restart this thing. Didn't know that before.
Shit.
Yeah, it's not been out there for a month or two.
Start it over.
I mean, yes, I could look this up myself, but since we're talking about it, anything for running back or rushing attempts or anything like that? I know we discussed.
Did we do the weird reception thing? Or not?
Yeah, so it's tiered PPR. Half for running backs, one for receivers, and 1.5 for tight ends. You guys didn't look at the scoring before you started this draft.
There's just, I don't know how you have the time for this shit. I'm trying my best.
You have no kids. What the hell do you do with all your time?
That's what I mean. I commute back from Omaha, even to get on this thing at my 8:30. I commute back from Omaha. I do my 2-mile run. Me and Liz went and got ice cream, and that was it. Then I rushed down here to fire up my computer.
Oh my god! Just wait till you have kids. You have to figure out something.
You're still working from home is the difference. I had all kinds of time when I was working from home.
That does save a lot of time. That saves an hour a day just on commuting, plus time getting ready and stuff. Like I still get ready, but I don't have to.
Not near as much. I was there for a year. I know what the difference is.
Yeah.
I get an hour and a half of commute every day.
Dang.
Well,
don't cry for me, Venezuela. What?
Shall we call this a broadcast and end it?
You got any recommendations? I got a recommendation.
I'll drop it quick, then let's get out of here.
Noah Cyrus, Miley Cyrus's sister. Her song July. I'm into it.
Why did we stay on here for that?
I knew you'd have that reaction, but give it a try.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry it's not mid-2000s hip-hop music, Levi.
Noah Cyrus. What's the song called?
July.
Crash, I think.
Yeah. I looked it up because they think it was about when she was maybe dating a guy named Smoke Perp in July 2020, and then she wrote this song about that Smoke Perp with 2 P's, Levi.
Didn't that guy die?
No, you're thinking of Pop Smoke.
What the hell are you guys talking about right now?
Wait till Brett hears about Da Baby and The Baby and all those other. Isn't that a thing too?
Yeah.
Lil Baby.
These SoundCloud rappers are crazy. It's all there's just names all over the place.
Oh man.
What's that? I don't remember that guy. Is it the Tekashi 6ix9ine? Is that the guy with the crazy rainbow hair?
Yeah.
Who's the one that died with the blonde hair and hair? And there's another white guy that does kind of similar.
Oh, Mac Miller?
Mac, come on. I'm talking about SoundCloud rappers, not actual good rappers. Mac Miller. Don't put his name in that.
So are these SoundCloud rappers, are they signed by somebody? Or
I don't know if they just, I don't know.
I mean, you're saying SoundCloud. I mean,
that's how they get big. It's like this whole new kind of rap thing. I'm definitely not the expert on it, but their songs are like a minute and a half long, and they just crank them out, and basically try to get one to hit on TikTok or whatever, and then they just explode in popularity is kind of the game plan now for rappers.
I don't know, Trevin. I think you have too much to listen to on your commute.
I've got an hour and a half commute every day. I got a lot of content I can listen to.
Find some
Only
new
so
podcast or something.
A lot of content you can listen to, and you wind up with Noah Cyrus and SoundCloud
You don't.
rappers.
No, this isn't. That's a good song. Don't put that in with the other ones.
He's jamming out to Noah Cyrus.
I don't even know the
so
SoundCloud
later on.
rappers. I just
You
know
heard
enough
her
of-
first. Rebecca Black's biggest fan, Trevin.
don't know. Come on. Oh, I did. My wife has made fun of me about this a lot. I want to own Kid Cudi's new CD. That's all. I want to own the physical copy of his CD. Can't find it anywhere because I don't want to. I don't know. Because I just want to have it. So, like, if you have what the hell, Spotify, I feel like I don't even have it. I just can play it. But what's the difference with just playing on YouTube? I don't own the damn thing. So I just wanted to have the physical CD. They don't sell those anywhere. So I bought it off his website for $20. That was in late November or whenever it came out. Still no CD in my hand. So I really don't know if I'm ever getting that one.
That's almost as bad as my experience with Cameo, that trash app.
But my wife makes fun of me a lot for thinking I need to own a physical CD, and she calls me
Yeah,
old.
you are old. You can't even figure out how to join our StreamYard link. You go to the wrong page on the Google Sheet. You order physical CDs. Your computer crashes because you are old and don't know how to operate it.
It was doing an update or something. I didn't have control over that.
Don't know
Kid
how
Cudi-
anybody has time for anything with your busy schedule that you got.
Man on the Moon 3 CD, $19.30. I paid for it. Shipping confirmation. Oh, this is beginning of April. I didn't know.
You're making fun of my early 2000s rap. It'll probably be 2040 by the time you get the CD, and then it'll be the same thing.
Finally get to listen to it 8 years later. I don't even have a CD player anymore.
Yep. On that note, we're ending this broadcast. I don't know if it's going to kick
Yes.
you guys off or not. We'll find out. Hold on.
You guys don't have anything else to talk about?
Garth Brooks